Welcome to the Money Watch podcast. It is Tuesday, April 18th. It's tax filing deadline today. Ooh, if you haven't filed, you better get that Form 4868, that extension rocking and rolling, because you got to get going. And by the way, if you make an estimate of what you think you owe, if you make some sort of payment, I think that automatically gives you the extension. But look, if you cannot afford to pay, there's lots of ways to get to the bottom line there. You can certainly choose an installment plan. That's a longer term plan. The IRS basically gives you an extra 4 months to pay. That's the biggest reason people need to extend, is not that, oh, I don't have my documents. It's because they're freaking out about how to pay. Go to our website, JillOnMoney.com. I've got some last minute tax tips that are up there, so check it out. Mark, how are you today? Producer Mark, best executive producer in the world.
I'm good. Taxes are filed.
Listen, you really are a show off about that. I know that.
I was eager to do it this year because it was our first year filing jointly. So I was curious what the pain would be like.
And it wasn't so bad, right?
There was pain, but it was moderate.
A moderate. Mark, if you had to describe your pain level, 10 being the most pain and 1 being no pain, how would you describe it?
6.
No, that's more than I thought. I thought it was going to be a 4 because you didn't seem to make a big deal about it. I was surprised. Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that. All right. So let's just make sure that everybody gets this done. I was looking up, just for fun, because I was doing a TV segment about this. What happens if you don't file your taxes or for an extension? There is a failure to file penalty, which is 5% of the unpaid taxes for each month or part of a month that your tax return is late. The penalty, generally, it won't exceed 25% of your unpaid taxes. That's insanity. To me, that's just like, why would you do that to yourself? So just file. Okay, I know you're going to file, and most of you have filed. So I feel like we have a very type A-ish kind of community, don't you, Mark?
I would be shocked if anybody in our audience has yet to file.
Or file for an extension. I would be shocked also. But raise your hand if you have, because we'd love to talk to you. All right, today we want to bring one of you on the air with us, because that's what we do. If you would like to join us, just go to JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button. We'll get your note, and if you check off the box at the end of the form and you say you want to come on the air, Mark does everything else while you're on the website. Don't forget, you could still buy the Great Money Reset. Are there 10 bold steps to turn chaos into opportunity? Yes, there are. And it's based on our conversations with all of you. So check out the Great Money Reset, and also check out our new service. It's called Jill on Money Live. Talk about taxes. All the people who got to join us with Ed Slott for our first quarterly webinar. If you want to see that webinar, all you need to do is join Jill on Money Live for $35, and you'll get that webinar plus 3. Or no, I guess you'll get 4 more, right? It's a rolling, right, Mark?
Anything that we put behind the paywall from this point on, I was starting with Ed Slott, they'll have access to.
You'll have access to, and we're going to put more stuff on that behind that paywall. So check it out. We're like the New York Times, Mark. We have a paywall now. We have free stuff, and we have some good stuff behind the curtain. So check it out. All right, right now, today, we are talking to Carla, who is on the line from Indianapolis, Indiana. Hey, Mark, have you ever been to Indianapolis, Indiana?
I think I drove through it on one of my journeys cross country.
Really? And I've never been. I'm very bad in the middle of the country. I've got to do a whole real exploration of the middle of the country. Although, I had the best time in Minneapolis. Indianapolis, down the street, and a lot of basketball. Big basketball territory, right, Carla?
A lot of basketball, yes.
A lot of basketball. Did you play basketball, Carla, or not?
I did not.
What was your sport? Did you play a sport?
I was a runner.
You were?
Yeah.
What was your event?
Cross country.
Wait a minute. So every single time you had to do that same thing, 3.2 miles or whatever it is, every single time, right?
Yes, but different courses.
Oh, I guess that's it. Are you still a runner?
Yes.
I wish I could run. I'm so old. Carla, how old are you?
42.
Oh, of course, you're still running. I was running like crazy when I was 42. The 50s gets a little more challenging. Why are you joining us today? What's happening? We're not going to talk about running the whole time. I could, though.
Okay, well, I'm joining you today because my husband and I have had a lot of changes in our financial lives in the last year. We have bought a business, and we feel like we are in a little bit over our heads with our savings and retirement and just overall financial planning. And we were considering getting a financial advisor, but had some questions about one, whether do we really need it? Are we doing okay? Should we do the one-time option, or should we do the option where they take over everything and just manage it for you for a fee?
Okay. So is your husband also in his 40s, something around there?
Yeah, 47.
Okay. And you bought this business, you guys were both employed and then just chucked it and bought a business?
It's actually where he works, so it's really his business. He bought into where he was currently employed.
Okay. How much did you guys have to, or how did you finance it? Like, tell me the story of the business.
It was previously a 2-owner practice, and about 6 years ago, he bought 9%, and from someone who was getting ready to retire. And then in July, we bought the other 40% from the person retiring.
So you guys own 49% and there's another partner that has 51?
Correct.
Do we like the 51 person?
Yes.
Because he or she has a lot of power.
Yes. They've
Over
been
your
working together
lives.
for about 15 years.
Okay. All right. That's good. How did you finance it? How did you borrow money, or did you just have the money sitting around?
We borrowed the money.
Through a bank or through a family member? How?
Through a bank.
What do they charge you? Like, what are the terms of the loan?
So we have 2 loans. So we have the 9% loan, which was originally $375,000,
Ooh.
7-year at a 3.97% interest rate, and we owe $35,000 left of that. So we have one more year.
What? You've paid off all that?
Yes, we have 1
Holy
year left.
smokes. Wait a minute. So 35 grand left on the OG loan.
Yes.
Okay. At let's call it 4%. Okay.
If 9% was 300, I can't wait to hear what 40% is.
You know, I'm dying. Okay. So let's talk about loan number 2.
Okay, this one's painful. So this one was $2,365,000.
$2,365,000.
And it's a 15-year at 3.89.
Well, the rate's not so bad. I mean, it's a fixed rate, right?
Yes, it's a fixed rate, and we can start to pay early after 5 years, I believe.
I wouldn't be paying that down so fast. Please tell me that this is, and when you said practice, I'm like, please God, let it be some sort of plastic surgeon where you make so much money that it's ridiculous. Is it?
It's a veterinary medicine practice.
Oh, okay. Is he getting paid a salary, or is it a salary plus distributions?
Salary plus distributions.
Okay. How has that been? Like, was 2022 a normal year after like the COVID years?
2022 and 2021 were very good years in veterinary medicine because everyone got a pet.
Oh, right.
Right.
Okay.
And so when he bought the rest of the practice, it was at the highest
Valuation.
Yeah.
I got you. So what is it that he expects to make in terms of, the normal practice? Not, I don't want to say like the extraordinary, but like what can we count on him earning?
Yeah. So I work part-time and I make between 90 to 100,000, just kind of varies on the year. And he is based 140, and we've only done 2 quarters with the new dividends.
Yeah.
But he's projected over the next year to make 520,000 with dividends.
I'm so excited. Okay. Sorry.
With our first loan, we paid it off with just the dividends from the practice.
Oh, that's so great. Now I've got the basics. That's a lot going on there, sister.
Yeah.
What about the rest, like real life stuff? Besides that, you guys have kids, or are you childless? I hope that these pets are really your children, because that would help your financial situation.
Well, we do have 2 cats and a dog, but we also have 2 children.
Oh no, I'm totally kidding. 2 cats and a dog and 2 kids.
Yes.
I like that you put them first. How old are the kids?
We have 11-year-old twins. They're in 5th grade.
Oh my God. Identical or fraternal?
Fraternal. 1 boy, 1 girl.
My girlfriend is an identical twin, so she considers fraternal twins siblings born at the same time.
Yes, they really are. They're very different.
Very different. It's so funny. Okay. I'm trying to figure out how we want to figure out your cash flow right now because it's weird. Your situation has changed. Let's start with do you guys own a home?
Yes.
What's it worth?
It's valued at around $420,000.
Is there a mortgage left on it?
Yes, we have a 15-year mortgage at 2.125%, and we owe 158. And we make our payments, like our monthly payment is around $1,900, but we pay $1,200 every 2 weeks just to follow the paychecks.
This is such a cheap loan. You need some cash flow.
Okay.
You know, like I want to make sure we have cash flow. Just make the regular payments. This thing, it's already like you're well into this. When did you get this mortgage?
We refinanced in, I'm not sure, maybe 2019.
Yeah, 1920 probably with that rate. Okay,
It was
so
really low, yeah.
yeah, but you're young. Just pay it off on the regular schedule. Don't make extra payments on that.
Okay.
Okay, because I need to figure out what your actual cash flow looks like. Okay, I promise I'm going to get to your question. I just want to figure this out.
No, you're okay. There's a lot here.
So, do you guys have money in the bank right now?
Yes. So you mean like our cash?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have it kind of separated out into 3 different categories. So we have just a normal savings attached to our checking account.
Mm-hmm.
And so that has 4,000 in it. Mm-hmm. And then we have another savings through Betterment, which gives us like a 4% interest rate. And we have 100,000 in that.
Oh, good.
And then we have another bank savings account that my husband uses to put his business money in. And he services the loan and the taxes through that. And right now we have 170.
I mean, so right now on the 140 plus the 90 that you earn,
Yeah.
if you had to live on that, could you?
Without the business?
Yeah, without the business.
We live essentially on my income.
Okay, great.
Except for the mortgage.
Okay.
No, that's not true because my husband also he contributes to the 529s.
All right, but that's okay. Like literally you do have good income, right? That base, the 140 and the 90, that 230, you put money into retirement, you put money into 529s, you live your lives. You can live it on that 230, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So how is he making retirement contributions? Is he doing it based on his $140,000 base? Is there a plan in place for the practice?
I think like with our retirement funds, I'm not sure how he bases it. I think he just maxes out as much as he can. So
okay.
We both have 401ks. I have one through my own work, and he has one that he maxes out annually.
How much money do you figure is in the combined retirement accounts?
All of them about 580,000.
Is it mostly traditional, not Roth?
Yes. So when we bought out the first bit, we were told that we made too much to contribute to a Roth. So then we stopped doing Roths and started doing traditionals at that point in time.
Okay. Besides that 580 in retirement, we'll do the 529s in a second. Are there any other accounts, brokerage accounts, stock accounts, inherited retirement accounts, anything like that?
Oh yeah. Sorry. The 580 includes 80,000 of a brokerage.
Okay. And what's in the 529 accounts?
We have so far, we put about 1,100 per kid per month in there. And so each child has 73,000.
Holy smokes. That seems like a lot. Are you happy about that?
I mean, that's one of our questions is like, are we too aggressive with that?
So is that it for like the assets? We've got our hands around the assets right now?
Yes.
Okay. Let's just say for the heck of it, this $2.3 million, $2.365 million loan, So this is an installment loan. Forgetting about paying it down early because it's actually not that expensive interest rate wise. What would the distribution level have to be to just cover that loan?
We have to cover the loan and the taxes every quarter. It has to be 102.
So what happens if the taxes would be less if the distribution is down. In other words, what happens if instead of getting the dividends of 525, let's say, what if it was like, you know what? It's not, business isn't quite as good. What happens if in a given year it's $350,000? And I'm not saying it will be. I'm just saying what would happen if. In other words, you'd have a lower tax base, right? Because you wouldn't have to pay as much in taxes. I wonder what the actual loan part of it is. So right now we have $408,000 that must come in to service the loan and pay the taxes on the distribution or dividends, right? I think an important question that I would ask if I were the person looking at this is, okay, well, what happens in the year where business sucks? It could be something stupid. It could be like you have a horrible weather event in Indianapolis and no one's taken their pet to the vet. So then I want to understand what someone's going to ask you in your whole question was like, do we need a financial advisor? Which I promise I'll get to. The real question is like, what happens if? So one thing we know is that we only have a year left at the other loan, right? And so there will be money freed up to help, right? Because in a year, the last 35 is done, and then there will be extra money that you will have as cash flow, which is great. The question is, what would happen to us if there was a 6-month period where we had a terrible period of time where we weren't making these big distributions? What would happen? That's the question we want to answer because everything else is awesome. I have to be honest with you. Like, it's good. So what that means is in your real financial life, forgetting about, this is why I think it's very important for you guys to not prepay the house, to just make those payments. Maybe this is a weird case where at least for the next couple of years, I would probably pull back on the 529. 73 grand per kid. Are we financing state school or private school?
Really, we wanted to be prepared for whatever they choose.
Well, I hope they're going to choose community college so we can take a breather. Mark, 73 grand for 10-year-olds or 11-year-olds. What does that get me if I have 7 more years?
If they do nothing else, it'll be a little over 100,000. They probably need more.
They probably do need more. But should we pull back on that right now versus pulling back on it? I'm worried about you not having enough cash on hand. I'm a complete nervous Nelly, small business owner, singed kind of gal. So my question is, what should we be thinking about? By the way, if you're an Indiana resident, I was just looking at the direct cost is like 25 grand a year. So you're basically, if these kids go to Indiana, 25 grand a year as, in-state resident, you got that covered. So you can breathe one bit of a sigh of relief on that. So Mark, should they pull back on education or retirement? I'm inclined to say education.
I would probably pull back. I'm not saying go from 1,100 to 0, but maybe cut it in half for both kids.
Yeah. And then what about retirement? Keep it going?
I think so.
I think so too. Because you don't have the weird thing is, right? So you're going to own this practice, it's 15 years and he's going to be 62 when this loan is paid off. Look, if things are cranking and it's amazing and you're making tons and tons of money, this is all going to be moot. You'll be like, oh boy, we can pay for tons. But the other thing is if things are going really great and you say, oh, we should have saved more in the 529, big deal. So you'll be able to pay for it out of cash flow. I think you need to build up cash on hand. That is where I stand. So the 100 grand at Betterment is kind of like for your family. The 170 is for the business. I'll tell you what, if you could think back in time, go pre-COVID, was there a time where you had 6 horrible months from this practice? I almost would like to go pre-COVID and figure out what would the worst case scenario be and then model it after that. So that may mean that you need, instead of, he's got 170 on hand, I might want 300 on hand. I might want to have, 2.5 quarters on hand that I could know that I could make the payments.
Okay. So go back pre-COVID and look and see what our last, like the worst period was.
Look at like the bad period. Like, what was a bad period? And that's what I'd want on hand. Like 6 months seems like pretty bad. Like, I guess if a tornado ripped through Indiana, and blank hit the fan and nobody was going out and there was rebuilding and no one, right? Like that would be like a horrible 3 months, 4 months. I'd want to have that on hand.
So like a quarter and a half or two quarters?
I think 2. I am such a wimp. I'd want 200. He's got 170. I'd want 200, 250, something like that. I am a wimp. You know why? What's the downside if I'm wrong? Oh, we have way more money than we thought. Okay, now here's the thing. What do you need if you were going to hire someone to do fee-only planning? I don't think you need anyone to manage your money. I really don't. That's not the issue. You need someone to help you model out the best way to prepare for if business were to turn south. And I think that's a one-time event. I actually not sure you need ongoing financial planning. What do you think, Mark?
Oh, I was going to say, is she comfortable doing this on her own? I get the sense that she is.
She sounds like on it. I think our girl Carla's got this together.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of, I don't know. It just seems like, well, how do you know what you don't know if you don't know it? So it's like, are we missing something just because we don't have the knowledge of it? But it seems like the fee because once you give them control, I had a hard time seeing us ever taking it back. We were kind of leaning towards more like the one-time fee, but it is very, nice to think that like we don't have to worry about it. Someone else will just do it for us.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think if you want that, you can certainly get it. But I would think this is a very peculiar and particular situation. The 401k is really where all your assets stand and a little bit of, in brokerage. And no one's really going to manage that so well anyway. It's just the choices are the choices. It's not that big a deal. And you can put it on autopilot. Both of you have 401ks. Where are they held?
Mine is through John Hancock. It's through work. And my husband's is at Vanguard.
Well, I mean, he's got Vanguard, which is amazing. And you can choose auto rebalancing on his account. You can choose a few funds, get it going. I do think you need a real like a fee-only financial planner who's going to charge you this one-time fee. Maybe you could even try to have them set up a system where you're like, well, can we come back and update this in a year, for a lower price? And I think that's really what you need. I don't think it's more than that. There are CPAs who do this kind of work, and they have a designation called PFS. I think it's personal financial something or other. Specialist, thank you. Those folks also might be very capable of doing it. So that's also a possibility. I think that it's a unique and very interesting situation. I'm not sure you bit off more that you can chew. I just think that we have to plan for it, just in case.
Just in case. Okay.
Just in case. I mean, you're now seeing you've got that wide-eyed Midwestern optimism, and now you are encountering the cynical, frightened New York Jewess who wants to look at the worst possible scenario. No, I think you're going to be fine. Okay. I would just rather look. It's the old story. It's like why I think estate planning is so important. I would rather plan for the worst and then put it away. You don't have to worry about it. Put the money away. That's fine. But I know you should not be paying down your mortgage early. And I know, I think, I shouldn't say I know. That I know. And I think you probably could stop or pull back on the 529 for now. Just get it, like you just started with this. Let's get a little bit of your sea legs back.
So, and we shouldn't, do you feel like we should pay, like if we have a good, quarters, should we continue to keep that as cash or should we put that towards the business loan, like pay it off?
I think I'd probably pay off the business loan.
Yeah.
But I always would want those 2 quarters in
cash.
In cash.
Okay.
Totally.
Perfect.
Okay, so if you would like to come join us on the air, you can change your name. You can go incognito. Don't worry. It's very easy to do. Just go to JillOnMoney.com and click the Contact Us button. Don't forget that when you're on the website, just bookmark it. You're going to come back there. We have so much content that is being refreshed all the time. This program, the Money Watch Podcast, is hosted by me, Jill Schlesinger, and Mark Talercio, who is the co-host and executive producer. Karen Kranick is our web queen. We're distributed by Paramount Global. We drop our episodes every Tuesday and Thursday. Try to lift someone up today. It will make that person feel good. It will make you feel good. Change your work, change your wealth, change your life. Thank you for listening. We'll talk to you on Thursday.